mind if I veer away from the Haida Gwaii theme for a moment to read a poem I wrote while I lived in Vancouver. It's set in a place on West 4th that I used to visit far too often. But I hear that it no longer exists. The Vineyard. The Vineyard. Nothing prepared me for this Sunday afternoon alone in a 2-bit diner, double Caesars, $4.50 a round. Nothing to do but dull my senses with vodka and Tabasco and realize it wasn't always this way. Established in 1977 when I was 6, this comforts me in a city so shiny and new where nothing seems to grip except this green vinyl clinging to my buttocks. This linoleum tabletop speckled as quail's eggs sticking to my palms. This waitress's chatter, soothing as a litany, seeping through the stacked plates of years piling too carelessly. If I believed in a God, I'd find myself a temple, kneel, chant, pray. Light a votive for the memory of a 6-year-old girl on the other side of a continent who'd call this place a dive, who'd be in the back meadow, blowing dandelion wishes to the sky. And now back to Haida Gwaii. And a sip of water. I'm almost done. I'd like to read a poem about a poet. As a cure for writer's block, a daily occurrence, I used to go to the Moon Over Naikun Bakery, which also no longer exists. Sadly, it burned to the ground last month. I used to go there and eavesdrop on the customers, and sometimes I'd take notes. One day, Susan Musgrave walked in, before I knew her. And she's never heard this before. At the moon. Today, a famous poet walked into the Moon Over Naikun and ordered a grilled cheese. She talked about her preference for shortbread over scones, rainwater over tap water, of how she once owned an opium bed and lived in London in '68. I don't know who's writing there these days, she said, biting into her grilled cheese. She sat at the table beside the sea lion skulls and the shell fossils, her eyes flicking from huckleberry muffins to the spinal disc of a humpback. The talk turned to windmills and peat bogs, and her finger tapped the small hollow of her throat, searching for the right word to describe where the Pacific meets the Sangan. Her eyes flicked from coffee urn to moon snail to the cedar floor, and you could almost hear the tap, tap, tap of a finger searching for the right word to describe how the May light gathered in pools across its surface. As it turns out, I'm not a very good eavesdropper. Once I got to know Susan and she gave me a tour of her house, I saw the opium bed that she still owns. She told me she'd won it from a high-end furniture store.
Shinsen Company.
Shinsen Company. Yeah. Legend has it, well, Haida Gwaii legend has it, it's the same bed that David Bowie and Mick Jagger once shared. On that note, we need something to amuse ourselves with. So on that note, I'd like to end with a little bit of a love poem. The Empress. At the the Empress. We bathe in rainwater, laced with cedar breath and whale spray. We dance in silence across plywood. We sleep to the sound of singing frogs and a wind blowing from Alaska. We walk among sea stars, moon snails, and empty shells of Dungeness. We imprint ourselves here, every day, in the wet sand, and every day we disappear.